last meeting, Lakeside Middle School was having a town hall tonight, and SIC in terms of an SIC meeting in terms of the new Laser Island renovation. The building has changed tremendously from what the community was given on the beginning half. And my understanding, I stated at the last meeting, and my understanding is that Mr. Odding was going and his staff was going to be there as well tonight to discuss what that looked like. So with that, my understanding is that we both would have been there, would have been at that meeting versus this meeting. So therefore, this meeting would either be on Wednesday or that meeting would be on Wednesday, and this meeting will be on Tuesday. But when I made mention of it, he was like, no, I think that the meeting was going to be next month, and so the next month that we would change our meeting and just go the next day.
Mr. Smith, is Ladies Island Middle School on the agenda?
They don't have to be on.
Yes, I'm stating on the agenda.
I'm stating
on the agenda.
I'm stating why I'm going to why my vote is going to be what it is. So I have that authority. I have that autonomy in terms of my answer of why I'm not going to support this agenda. So therefore, actually, at this point in time, you are impeding me from making my comments of why I'm voting the way that I'm.
I'm not stopping you from making your opinion, making your voice heard, but you're out of order right now.
I'm not out of order.
Middle School is not on the agenda.
I'm not out of order. So
you are out of order.
No, I'm not out of order. If you want me to be out of order, but I'm telling you, let me go ahead and tell you, I'm going to vote no because of the fact that you don't like it. But my honest understanding was that we were not going to have this meeting the same time. At least I must have an SIC because it's important for us at certain times board members to go to SICs.
Regardless, welcome to go to the SIC.
And I am going to go to the SIC meeting, but the point of this is that this is a large agenda, and we're taking upon a lot tonight, and so therefore, obviously, I like to be at these meetings when we do have them, and so therefore, I was just asking that, and I also let me say this, I was under the understanding that being talking about building a new building and what that building will look like, that the building of the person of chief of operations would be there to answer any questions tonight, and apparently that is not true. So therefore, that's the second point that I want to bring out of another reason of why, because I felt like I was being misled. So therefore, now you can go ahead and you can continue your meeting, but the way you did it is definitely. It's not professional at all. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to that. Thank you, sir.
Is there anything else, Mr. Smith?
Nothing point blank.
All those in favor of the agenda?
I said what I
signify by saying aye.
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 Understand that.
All those opposed?
No. I vote no. Not opposed. I vote no.
Motion passes. Mr. Smith,
Stop playing.
Public comment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody. Take the motion to approve the September 9th committee meeting minutes as corrected.
I'll make the
Second. All those in favor?
Oh, actually, give me a second before I want to make sure that conversation that we had, that conversation reflects in these minutes.
It's not in the minutes.
It's not in minutes, Ms. Cushenberry?
No.
Okay. Is there a reason why that conversation is not in the minutes?
You don't usually put those as was an action item. There was nothing that was taken care of. It was not moved on. It was a statement that you made. No one did anything on it, so that's why.
Okay, well, that's just why that, and there's nothing on you, Mr. Cushenberry, but the conversation was had, and the conversation, I believe
the conversation you stated that the question came up back inside. You stated that you asked if the meeting could be moved to another time. The committee members were here. No, there was no action taken on it. No one made a motion. No one seconded. No one agreed to move the meeting. So there was no action or anything about it. you stated that you would not be able, you could not be here and be at the Ladies Island Middle SIC. That was, so yes, you did bring it up, but there was no action, no motion, no anything that was taken on.
And thank you for making that clearly. But I just would like, that's why before we had them to actually put those types of things in the minutes, in the actual minutes of the meeting, so that we could know that those conversations actually took place. Because if you don't go back and look at the
You
tape,
can record,
right?
meetings are recorded.
No, I understand. But I'm just saying, if you don't,
But let me explain. Legally, because there's no motion and there's no action, I don't have to put them in there. But that's why we record the meetings. That's why we have it, so that people can go back and look at it. They can get verbatim of what was stated.
right? I do understand. But in the past, we had recorded all. Okay, well, that's what my recollection of it is, and I'm not perfect, but that's what my recollection of it is. But I just want to make sure. But now I thought, and the reason why I didn't take action is because I thought that we all were on the same accord. The same way how sometimes we may ask a staff member, "Do you have it?" And they say they have it, and if you have it, then we don't need to take action because everyone is on the same page. So my understanding when I left the meeting that we were all on the same page. So that's why I thought there was no action that needed to be taking place. Respectfully, thank you. Thank you very much.
Or who made the motion? Isaac. And you said,
Any other discussion?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm going to oppose. You've heard why.
Next order of business, motion passes. Whale Branch Elementary School SAC recommendation for name media center.
So you have the information in front of you. I'm going to ask Mr. Carlos Williams, the principal of Whale Branch Elementary School and J.J. Davis Early Learning Center, to talk about what they are proposing and how it came about.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Carlos Williams, principal of Whale Branch and James J. Davis Early Learning Center. This is Ms. Jessica Russell, my SIC chairperson.
Sir, could you speak up a little bit so we're recording?
Yes. So this is Carlos Williams, principal, and then Ms. Jessica Russell, SIC chairperson for both schools. And so we are proposing to have our media center at James J. Davis dedicated to Pastor James Moore. And we've prepared a letter that I'll just read to you in regards to why we want to have that request taken care of. So, dear members of the Beaufort County School Board, on behalf of Whale Branch Elementary School Improvement Council, I respectfully submit this formal request to rename the newly renovated library at James J. Davis Early Learning Center in honor of Pastor James E. Moore. Pastor Moore has long served as a dedicated community activist and partner to both James J. Davis Early Learning Center and Whale Branch Elementary School. Pastor Moore is a beacon of continuous improvement and a tireless advocate for lifelong learning, early literacy, and student achievement. His leadership was instrumental in establishing the partnership between the Beaufort County School District and the Beaufort Jasper Head Start program, which laid the foundation for early learning center serving pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, and Head Start students. His impact extends beyond the Early Learning Center. Pastor Moore played a pivotal role in the construction of Whale Branch Early College High School, championing the construction of its Performing Arts Center and main competition gym. He united churches across Seabrook, Grace Hill, Dale, Big Estate, Labico, and Sheldon to form the Healthy Churches Consortium, which continues to support the success of our cluster schools. His efforts also helped bring county agencies and resources to families throughout the Sheldon Township, strengthening the connection between school and community. These highlights offer only a glimpse into Pastor Moore's extensive contributions and unwavering advocacy. In recognition of his unwavering commitment to education and community service, Pastor Moore was honored with the Shirley Perry Award by Beaufort County Community Partners at the African American History Education Conference last year. The library at James J. Davis Early Learning Center is the heart of our school, a vibrant space for learning, collaboration, creativity, and exploration. It is only fitting that the space which nurtures our youngest learners and fosters a love of reading and discovery bear the name of someone who has devoted countless hours of promoting early education and student success. Renaming the library to Pastor James Moore E. Moore Exploration Station in honor of Pastor Moore would not only celebrate his remarkable legacy, but also serve as a lasting inspiration to our students, staff, and community of how he continues to push the exploration and implementation of strategies and resources that will benefit all students. His continued life's work exemplifies the values of leadership, service, and the transformative power of education. After a unanimous vote of approval from the SIC board, we respectfully urge the Beaufort County School Board to consider this proposal. We believe this tribute will honor Pastor Moore's enduring contributions and serve as a meaningful legacy for generations to come. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration, and we welcome the opportunity to provide any additional information you need.
At this time, Mr. Chairman, I move that we do honor
Mr.
the.
Smith, hold on a second. We're making a motion.
Well, why are you telling as the chairman? Why are you telling who to make a motion to? I mean, is that something that y'all rehearsed before the meeting?
I literally just asked if you would read the motion.
Okay.
There's a motion to be read. It's in your pre-read.
Well, actually, he's actually represented from that area, and then I believe that I would be in this area. So I think that to have it just to openly, to allow the person who wants to make the motion, I think, and not to pre-make that have that conversation. I think that's more of the meeting and not a discussion of how things are being done.
Since the motion was prepared by the staff, why don't you read it as moved?
I actually I don't have to. I can give
Yeah,
the
you're
motion.
right.
I can
But
give the motion that I would like to. That's what the staff prefer. I can give the motion, and the staff
Mr. Smith,
they can edit. They can actually edit it.
Mr. Smith,
That's what happened.
I understand.
Okay.
However, this board meeting, this committee meeting isn't do whatever you want committee meeting. When you're chair of the committee, you can do whatever you want. You're not going to take over my committee meeting.
This is Beaufort County School District Operations Committee.
You're right.
This is not your committee.
You're right.
Okay.
But right now,
What you
I'm the
just said,
chair.
that's not what
Currently,
you just
I'm the
said.
chair of the committee.
Right. What's the job of the chair?
And what you're really trying to do is subvert the chair of the committee and take over the committee meeting.
I'm not. I just made a motion and you stopped me from making a motion. That's what happened.
I'm not. You're welcome to read the motion.
I make a motion that we accept the motion. I mean, that we accept the recommendation from the SIC committee from Well Branch Elementary School, and named Pastor James Moore. We named Pastor James Moore. But yeah, just we accept the motion. That's fine enough. The recommendation. That's my motion.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Mr. Smith, you made the motion. Would you have the floor for discussion?
I would just like to say that Pastor Moore has definitely been an influential person in that community. He has done a lot of work. I appreciate his hard work, and I appreciate the SIC over at Well Branch Early College. I appreciate y'all hard work, and we look forward to that day because this is definitely an honor. He's definitely put his blood, sweat, and tears into that community.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the hard work that y'all are doing out there as well. Thank you.
Are you recommending this to go to the full board?
Yes, I am recommending this to go to the full board.
Any other discussion? Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. I don't want this to overshadow the importance of this occasion. My apologies. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It will be brought to the next board meeting.
Right. Final approval.
Is it signed copy?
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right.
If you also see at this board meeting or something.
Is that one?
Okay.
over Hilton Head?
Yes. Be as if.
Okay. You can go use it. Thank you.
Next order of business.
All right, Mr. Steve Andrews, I tell you what, I'll give you my seat here next to Mike. This has been brought yeah, you can come in here. This is one you should all be very familiar with, right? WK Austin. The last time we met, they brought road improvements. And at that time, there was not a developer on board known. There were some requests, I believe, for some consideration being given to teachers of Beaufort County School District as far as the apartment complex. And with that, I'll set you up. And can you bring, if anybody has any questions, maybe bring the site plan up. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. We've seen it a lot. I'll hand it over to you, Steve.
Okay, so Steve Andrews representing the property owner, and as Robert pointed out, we've been here several times. So I do appreciate y'all bearing with us, and we're making forward progress. The last time that we were before this committee, and then there was a subsequent conversation at the board meeting. I was unaware at the board meeting. I apologize. I wasn't there, but I had the opportunity to watch the video and see what your comments were. And the ask was to make concessions for the easement. Myself and the developer had a conference call with Bradley Terrence, and this is several months ago. At that time, he was the principal of the school. I don't know if he still is the principal of the school. And we had input from him, and that's the list that we included for y'all to see tonight. It came from that conversation. So the ask is Ambrose Run. It goes east to west, horizontal as we're looking at it. On the western end connects to WK Austin, and there's a strip of school property between WK Austin and the apartment site that we would have to cross. And so that's the easement that we need. In previous visits before y'all, there was a need to connect a water line, and y'all agreed to allow that water line connection in the force main. So now we're asking for the road connection. We said we would go to the Department of Transportation and ask of them, along with the traffic study, if the turn lane improvements for the school were warranted. And if you're southbound on WK Austin, heading from Broad River to 170, you would make a right turn into the school driveway. That right turn lane is warranted by DOT standards. So that would be the number one offer. Is that is a need for the school. It benefits the school. The developer would design, permit, and construct that turn lane improvement. In the conversation with Mr. Terrence, we asked about the existing apartment complex, which is to the west side of the school. What kind of teacher occupancy was he experiencing there? And at that time of our conversation, there was one teacher there. We talked around numbers, nothing concrete that he didn't have to offer us a specific number he needed. So the property owner came up with what we're looking at here. So the offer would be allocate up to 15 of the apartment units at a 20% discount on the market rate for rent. Anyone who works in the school has priority position. So not just this school, but the school. So be it a teacher, be it administrator, be it staff, support personnel. One of the things that is currently being experienced by Robert Small School is people from the Battery Creek apartments are making their way through the parking lot at Walmart. So along with the Ambrose Run improvements, there would be sidewalks, pedestrian ways, bicycle sidewalks that would let you travel along the sidewalk, cross at this intersection, and then get onto school property. So make it easier for students that would be living in the apartments and getting to the school. The other thing that was mentioned in that conversation with the principal is in case of some type of emergency, there's a need for a reunification. And so that could be designated at a spot on the apartment complex. And then another thing that the principal mentioned is throughout the year, there are fundraisers, collections that are made for the school supplies, clothes, an assortment that y'all are more familiar with myself. But a drop off, a donation location could be provided on the apartment complex. So that's what the offer is to the school to get cooperation in the granting of that easement.
20 apartments, 15% off.
50, yeah, 50,
20%.
right, 15,
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for clarifying. And then a unification site.
Right.
And
drop off
drop off for donations
and sidewalks to
and sidewalks.
travel east and west.
How many apartments is dedicated to 15 to 20%?
No,
I didn't hear that.
yeah. So no, that is a good choice. So it's the apartments. The number of units is a hard 15. So it's 15 apartment units, and then 20% discount on market rate. What needs to be determined on an as need basis is the teachers' needs, or the staff. Again, it's not just teachers. It'd be for the school employees, wherever they fit in the spectrum. Is it a family? So would they need a multi-bedroom, or is it a single teacher that would need a one bedroom? So that's where it's 15 units, 20% discount on market rate. What size unit to be determined of the need of the school personnel.
Question, how many total units are we talking about for this apartment complex?
I'm going to answer the question, but let me preface it by this is the property owner who is not going to develop. He's going to sell it to a developer. So that question or that answer doesn't exist today. We have done previous designs, and the previous design was around 500 total units. That seems to be too big of a pressure point, so that would be scaled back maybe in the 380 unit is probably where this ends up at, with a mix of apartments and townhomes. That's sort of what the current people that are looking at the land are contemplating. So it's still not a fixed number.
So when the developer sells it to the contractor, the terms are going to be included in the sale of the developer to the.
We can tie it to the
Yeah.
easement and to the property, requiring it to stay in perpetuity, basically, for whoever owns it.
Correct. Yes. That's and so just for clarification, it's the developer is unknown right now. It's the property owner.
The property owner to the developer.
Correct. So the property owner is in agreement to execute this easement now. The legal document would include these terms for everybody's satisfaction. So they would be bound to the property.
Gotcha. Smith?
The points you just wrote off, is that in this packet?
I don't believe it was included, so it's not in there.
Okay. Okay. And the reason why I will say that is because I just gotta say this publicly. What was just read off to us about the 15 apartments, the 20% discount, the going back to for the emergency space from someone who understands this line of business, that's dang near laughable. That is a disgrace that's what y'all really brought to the table today to me. Just to be quite honest. I mean, just to, the days is kind of no breaks day. Like that, those are not things. I mean, the 15 apartments, that's something to probably, to say, okay, that's the start of a conversation. But those other things, we have a school like that's not even within a a quarter of a mile, we can get students too. But I shouldn't even say that. But in terms of that's the reinforce the where we're going to move students at. We have an emergency management department. That conversation will need to been discussed with them. And I don't see Mrs. What's her name? Miss Henderson at the table to even see if that's something that's even workable. So I will give you credit. I appreciate the start of the conversation, but the real results of what we're talking about here, nothing has really changed in terms of wanting to say yes. I'm willing to say that y'all are giving us something. I just you know in terms of been going to county council meetings, in terms of listening to the growth of the community and towards the community wanting to stop of growth, and to say that we're willing to uh give you the easement, and people are paying millions of dollars for easements at this point in time. I, as a board member, respectfully, I couldn't go along with it. But I do thank you for having the conversation with Mr. Terrence. But also I think that the conversation needs to take place, and I'm sure Mr. Terrence is welcome to this committee meeting as well, to figure out where the board would like to have, and how we should, because I think that the board, last time you were here, there were a couple of things that some of us at this table stated that were clear indicators of our concern, and that things that we wanted. And I kind of didn't really hear too much of, well, I didn't hear enough of that happening in the actual contract. Is because I got in my community, there was a guy who said that he was going to build houses in the community. He built a hole in the community, and he was going to sell it to another contract. So they took the dirt out of the community and left the community with a hole in the community the size of that could possibly put this building in, is in my community. And now they have a fence off. His kids could go to that. And they say, well, we weren't going to do that. And so then what happened was he said he wasn't going to do that. He sold it to another contractor. It's still, that hole is still in my community. So because of that, to give you put some teeth in what I'm talking about, you're not actually having the actual contractor who's going to do this and how it can be flipped. It's very dangerous for us to enter an agreement with you. What's proposed today in front of me. I'll just leave it there. Respectfully, I thank you, though.
Yeah, well, those are good comments, and I appreciate it. I didn't come here tonight to think we were going to get approved. Like this has been a journey, and so we have listened. We got some input from this group, and then as I watched the video of the board member, and that's what sent us to talk to the principal, to get some boots on the ground, a little bit more specific. We went, a test case was, what are you doing with the apartments next door? How many people are using it in one teacher? So what the question was asked, where are the other teachers at in this area? There's a lot of other apartments, and they're not using those. So that's where the 15 came up. There seemed to be a limited need for it. That's why we said, well, let's don't limit this to teachers. The purpose is to help benefit the students. They need administrators, teachers, and all the other staff at the schools. And I totally understand it is a little unknown, because we got a landowner, not the developer, to help protect your points that you just made. Is, Robert said, it's going to be bound to the easement, so it's going to be tied to the land. So it does not matter who purchases it, what type of development they do, apartments, townhomes, stick-built houses, single-family lot. They have to set 15 of them aside. So that's going to be tied to the land. So there cannot be a bait and switch. What you were explaining, you experienced. There's efforts that's been made by the property owner to get the traffic study done, to have us work with y'all. He's willing to continue down that road. And so the engineering and the construction cost of that turn lane is on the magnitude of $500,000. And there's some wetlands that have to be crossed. So there's mitigation costs that are going to measure in six-figure numbers. So it may not be the million you talked about, but it's going to be pushing close to that. So there is a financial benefit that the school gets, because this right turn lane helps the school. It's not helping the developer directly as far as his traffic goes. And I get it's a concession that needs to be made to get to the easement. So I'm great to have feedback and figure out where to go with this. We're close. We missed it by a mile. If we need to reconvene with Bradley Terrence, the principal, I'm fine to go back and try that again. So, yeah, so we're not coming. This is it, ironclad, take it or leave it, vote it up, vote it down. This is just, hey, this is a starting point to a conversation. So if y'all got specifics to feedback, then I cannot speak for the property owner, but I'll take it back to him and have a conversation.
The developer does not want to purchase the land unless he has the easement.
Yes, so there are requirements from this county and the city and the state that would like to see that connectivity. Okay, there are options to proceed without the connectivity, but they aren't really good for the whole group. It doesn't get the improvements made where the traffic impact's going to be. So this seems to be the best location for everybody, the developer and the school. So yes, to answer your question, before this project moves forward, we would like to have the easement in place. That's why I'm here tonight representing the owner before he has a developer to purchase it. Yes, we would like to get this in place in the form of an easement that would have all these conditions in it that the development couldn't move forward without these being completed.
Or do you have anything? Oh, what
Sure, it's online, but she doesn't have her hand up.
what would be the market value of the easement if it wasn't the school district? If it was private landowner to private landowner, what would be the market value of that easement?
Like, I don't know. That's
I'll say, that's tough to judge. It's whatever it will go for.
Mhm.
I mean, when we've tried to do comps on easements that we've looked at, we've asked Sarah Robertson to kind of look into it for us, and it's near impossible to say this easement is worth that. It's whatever the market will bear. It's kind of what her answer has been to me in the past.
Okay. I think because at this point right now, about the only other thing that you've done the traffic study, which was what I asked of you.
correct.
You agreed to do the turn lane because that's what the traffic study revealed. Now you've also agreed for the unification site. You agreed for donation site, sidewalks, crossing whatever. About the only other thing that I can think of is maybe a percentage, like a cash value of the percentage. I wouldn't even say 100%, but maybe 50 or 25% or 30, I don't know, whatever, or 40% of what the fair market value was as also a cash, or something that might be. I'm just one more point out there. But other than that, at this point, you've done everything that the committee has asked. If that is going to be tied, the only thing I would say is for that, the points that you brought to us need to come back in writing. But at this point, I'd be willing to go ahead and take a vote to move it to the full board, as long as the points that you brought are in full writing or in writing, and then the full board can decide on it.
If I could add one more thing, because I know one thing that's kind of
really good at that.
sorry, because Ms. Boatwright brought up the condition of traffic calming devices, speed humps or something to slow traffic down on Ambrose.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So I would say that would be one more condition that was asked. I don't know if that would be any issue for.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate along Ambrose.
Yeah.
Or Dipka, whatever that road is, right there.
And it could be a variety of different things. They a lot of times do pavers with tree island, just something to slow down traffic on Ambrose.
Okay. Can I just, we have transportation in the building and I think a lot of it's gonna affect school buses and stuff. And I was just wondering if they had any kind of, would they be able to have any kind of input on that?
Transportation.
I think the school bus inlet is further north, right?
Well, to Robert Smalls, that would all be within a walk zone. So you would be across, because you would just cross the street. Now, we may have to have crossing guards or thinking of something of that nature. Now, you would have buses that would go to Battery Creek High School or things, but Robert Smalls itself, you would be walking from the apartment
Right.
across WKR.
And I'm talking about the buses that coming in from
All right,
on the other routes,
You say
not just the
no?
apartment.
What's-
I understand the walk zone,
Yeah,
but I'm talking about the other buses that come in there. Would it affect transportation? Would it affect the bus transportation coming in there? Not from the apartment complex, 'cause I understand it's a walk zone.
now, one of the things in the past, of course, traffic backed up, well, in the old Robert Smalls configuration, traffic backed up onto WK Austin, and that was a real problem.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm aware, I don't know, does traffic back up onto WK Austin as far as you're aware at any times? It does still back up? The parent drop off? So that would impact, and the right turn lane would help that.
The other way.
So what he's talking about is that right turn lane would be into the parent drop off. So for at least the length of the right turn lane, traffic, if they go forward there, those parents would stack in the turn lane instead of being on WK Austin. So that's where those road improvements they're talking about is a benefit to us. Because if they don't, so if we're stacking up onto WK Austin today,
Yeah.
do you know the distance of the right turn lane?
I was just gonna ask about what the queue length would be and maybe in us being able to have a voice in the determination of the length of.
So not exactly, not directly. Y'all asked us to do the traffic study.
Right.
The traffic study occurred after these improvements were made. Like this is in real time, like we did this. All this is happening this year. So the traffic counts, the observations were what's today, and then that set the warrant for the turn lane. So that's been factored in there. So it should accommodate to whatever traffic standards to get pull that traffic off the road. So you've had your say, if you will.
Right.
That was the first ask, which led then to the design, which considered all of that information. So the turn lane is to support that driveway. Its design intent is to pull those people off and give them storage to account for that backup. Keep the free movement on WK Austin,
Coming from,
Broad River to 170.
We did ask about
The
the
left.
left, and I believe that it was not warranted. So what you got to realize is that road is a DOT road, so they have jurisdiction on it. So we did ask them to look into that. They looked into that. DOT said, no, you cannot put a left turn lane there based on the traffic count.
Under the current conditions, which can change over time.
But they did allow the right hand turn, so that's where you would get traffic. You'd be able to get traffic off the road coming from the Broad River side to get off. But if you're coming from 170,
right.
that if that's the case, that would still be a problem. Do you know which side?
That would be a
To
problem.
both sides?
Yeah. I used to drive that road. It's sides.
So
I mean, it was
you're saying the
way
northbound
worse
traffic
under the
needing to
old.
turn left.
Yeah.
Off, the northbound lane waiting to turn left gets stacked up too.
Yeah. And that that is such a long stacking lane. There may be some things the school can do to speed that up. So a lot of times it could be handled under the way that that management is doing all the student loading. Cause that's a long drop off.
Okay.
But does it back up on the bus drive?
The backup on the car rider side sometimes doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't allow buses to get around it, I guess. Yeah.
Cardi, you have anything? You're done. Mr. Smith? Thank you.
First and foremost, you said that we actually do the traffic study. I don't think that we took that this board operations committee actually do a traffic study. I think traffic study is something that you had to do if you want to bring this problem, this project to fruition. So when you say that no, we ain't actually do anything, and I want to get that clear because that's not the first time I've heard you say that. So that was not an action by us. That's something that you had to do to help move our project.
Mm.
So I wish that you would respectfully stop saying that well, I don't remember us actually voting on it and saying that we needed a study. And the second thing is I'll go back to what I said prior to this in terms of the talking about making that a taking those students over there. That list that you have in front of you, I don't think that there would be things that our taxpayers would be happy with us. And once again, also, we don't know if all those things are even conducive to being done. When once again, we're not having the emergency person here, so I don't see how this board can say, "Oh, we would be glad to accept that," and we don't even know if that's something that could even be done. So I I'm not comfortable with it. I feel that there's that list and what is being proposed is a bunch of baloney. And I'm gonna be straight up with it. I don't know where this deal is coming from, but I don't think that the truth of the deal is being really brought to the table. Because if he really wants to be, if the developer really wanted to be truthful, he can come in himself too as well. Because we have other projects where we've seen that, and I just don't think that to say that yes, we are possibly selling it to anybody. Yeah, I can come here. I can come up to the school district and say, hey, look here. Hey, I wanna do business with y'all, but knowing that I'm going to sell it to someone else or someone else, it's a hard sell because of there's some things that in that world that we call go pass. So therefore, you get up to a certain point, you can't go past it because there's something there, and I believe that there is something here. And the go passes at this time is a school district, and once we get that, the developer he's gonna make a ton of money, and we're not really we would really have not gotten anything out of it. And so for me, this is real troublesome in terms of utilization of taxpayers' money and taxpayers' land. So I am going to let the community know that this will be a grave mistake on behalf of the district if we do that. And we have not conveyed with our staff just one person in terms of the chief of operations, and there's another component of what you're saying, because y'all have went and spoke to the principal and not this board. I've never been on this board and have had the low level of a principal talking to a developer in terms of what that looked like, because to me that doesn't look good either. And nothing on Mr. Terrence. It's just sometimes it's about how it looked, because at the end of the day, the board is voting on these things, and the board look within the best interest in terms of land. So I'm definitely not comfortable with it all the way around.
So
did you have something? I'm okay.
That was a lot, and I want to be respectful of y'all's time. So just a couple of things, because now we're talking about whether we're telling the truth or not. You're correct, that we had to do a traffic study. And the first time we came to you, we had a traffic study that allowed that apartment complex to go forward, was approved by the county, the city, and the Department of Transportation, and it did not show any turn lane improvements to benefit the school. So the school said, what can y'all do for us? We observed and discussed, and y'all were having trouble with traffic backing up on WK Austin. This pre-exists your current condition. That was when it was under design. I think it started construction. So I stand corrected. You didn't say go do a traffic study. You said, can you do a right turn lane? Can you do a left turn lane? What improvements can you make? So that required the traffic study, which we did to determine that you could get the right turn lane. So that is how it came to be. So to help answer the question you asked of us, can you do a turn lane? That triggered the need for the study. that study was separate from what was done for the apartment complex. That study only looked at the school situation to determine the turn lanes that you may or may not need, and we determine you need a right turn lane. As to some help, I'll offer this to y'all on that left turn movement. The Ambrose Run requires a right turn lane into it, so it'll have that right turn lane, not bypass lane, but literally you would have a physical bypass lane. So that may help some of y'all's situation. That's just a byproduct of the total improvement. And I just want to say it one last time. I didn't come tonight to get approval. This was a start for a dialogue. We've got one thing added to the list. And just to address Robert, what he brought up, Ms. Boatright did talk about traffic calming in Ambrose Run, and there's, that's problematic. That road, its function is the interconnectivity. Traffic calming on it really doesn't benefit the school or traffic along WK Austin because that's a stop controlled intersection. So whether the car is going slow or fast, when it gets to you, it's got to stop, and then it'll be following the traffic laws and signage and markings on WK Austin. So I don't see that as beneficial, but it could be harmful to the value of that interconnectivity of that road. So that's why we didn't make that offer. It just seems contrary to what we all want is a better situation for the community. And I understand y'all's focus is for the school and the students. I get that. I respect that. We're trying to help y'all achieve that. The traffic comment on Ambrose Run just doesn't fit that. So that's why we didn't include it. We'll definitely go back and talk about the value of the land and see what we can come up with.
All right, so no motion going forward tonight. Come back with an estimate of the land, and we can discuss a percentage as well as no longer traffic calming on Ambrose. Okay. Anything else that?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm good, thank you.
Anything else, gentlemen, to consider coming back?
Yeah, and then just one more question.
Oh, and make sure we have something in writing as far as the agreement for the owner to give to the developer.
Okay, so a draft
Yes.
a draft easement. Okay, let me offer this, and to your point, you didn't get to see this in advance. We didn't get stuff to Robert till at the last minute, so it's on us, not him. What if we get it to Robert? He disseminates it to y'all. Y'all can digest it, feedback to him. I mean, I don't necessarily want to come and be an agenda item and take up your time if it can be done offline. Equally, if I need to come back so we can have the face-to-face, I'm fine with that. But if it would work better for y'all to give it to y'all and let you have time to digest it before we discuss it.
I have a problem with it.
Yeah, personally, I don't have a problem with digesting it, but the face-to-face is needed in terms of transparency for the public.
Oh, yeah. Ultimately, but
Yeah.
we might have some back and forth, a few rounds till we get it where you want it, and then we would come then and have a discussion. So I will try that. I'll get this to Robert because it's going to take a little bit because the draft and the easement's going to be, the attorney's going to have to get involved, so that's going to take some time, and we just may not get this before. I don't know what your meeting schedule is going to look like as we hit November, December with holidays, but we could get it to Robert and he could pass it around and y'all can look at it when you can. So let's try that, and we can maybe keep it moving forward and then reconvene it with the public meeting again after the first year.
And then one quick question: how many years have this? How many years have we been at this?
I almost don't want to say that out loud. We started, I think maybe our first visit to you was in 21.
In 21.
So we ain't speedy on this. It's so that's what I say. We didn't come tonight to get approval, just to help further this along. I get it's a tough decision for y'all to make. So we'll get something to you, let you digest it, probably not see each other again until after the first of the year.
Thank
you. All right. Good.
Thank you.
All right, y'all take care. Thank you. Robert, thanks.
Yep. Steve. Candace, I think you're up. Here we go.
Sure.
Or near the microphone.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that Molly Gottlieb was going to talk about the push changes that she made in the board spreadsheet that you requested. Page numbers. She'll be quick.
No problem.
And you want to talk about that? Okay.
So really, it was just an adjustment to the page numbers, and then the headers are clear at the top, as well as whenever someone decided that they weren't gonna pay, I've indicated that with the no, and then same thing with when someone did pay, it's indicated by the date they paid in full, and what the final amount was.
I definitely appreciate that. That definitely brings clarification to it so we can answer that question and understand it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank y'all for your help.
Yeah, no problem. No, Molly's done a great job. So this will be quick, but we have the third quarter FOIA report. This quarter, we had a total of 31 requests. Last quarter, we had a total of 24. So again, as the school year progresses, like we tend to see an uptick. And again, it's the same trends that we've been seeing lately. It's mostly contracts and RFPs that people would like. Some people, we had a request for, I think, the enrollment numbers after the first 10 days of school, things like that. That's pretty typical. We get things like number of devices, things like that. So again, I will always thank Molly and Ms. Cartledge and technology and procurement. FOIA takes a team to get it done. And so we're very, very grateful that people work with us on this. But happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Mr. Smith, you have anything?
No, actually, you reading the sheet, see there, I was able to answer. It was on the $106 October. I saw no, so apparently she didn't get it. It was just giving the price to her.
Correct.
Yes, yeah. So it's already working. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank you. Thank y'all for your help.
Sure. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
On the next.
We move to consent agenda. Motion.
I make a motion that we move it to the consent agenda.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And 30 check one.
I don't. But I'll be happy to come down.
Izzy, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all this evening? I usually don't get to come to these, so I feel special coming to an operations. I'm usually in academics, but we do have an AR today to bring forward. And the reason this one, it was kind of done through our office is because it has to do with animals that are being used for instruction. So I have three things for you. I have the executive summary, which just outlines the changes that we've made. The red line copy, which a lot of people find it easier to see the changes on there because they're in red or they're in a strike through. And then we have the final copy. And this is for your information this evening. So we, as you know, we regularly look at our administrative regulations and update those. We also update them as new regulations and policies come down from the state. So that's where we are this evening. In section 1, we did add in the superintendent's expectation that is being added to all of our administrative regulations. Another thing that's being added to all of our administrations is section 2, which is our non-discrimination clause. So let's get into the real changes for animals in Beaufort County. If you'll look over on page 2 down near the bottom under animals generally, this is where our biggest change comes from. The state is now saying if the animals are aligned with one of our 32 pathways for CTE, which we do have an agricultural pathway, then those animals can be, if they're approved, they can be utilized for the purposes of instruction. So if you think about our Battery Creek High School, they have a very strong agricultural national winning program there. they might have the need for them to be around some livestock in their studies. So it allows us to do that as long as they are approved and as long as there is an ample enclosure around them for safety and so that they don't get loose. The only other real change is if you look at E right below that, we do allow animals for the purpose of students observing them and learning about habitats. And the state has allowed the inclusion of chinchillas now, which they're nocturnal. I'm not sure how much the kids are going to see during the day, but they are allowing us to add that. So of course, any opportunity we have to provide something in our schools, we're going to take it. So we did add that. The only other changes that are made, if you look at the legal references, we just updated those with the current laws and legislation and concurrent governance of that. So those were the primary changes, and I'll answer any questions if you have them for me.
Chills on the uptick or?
They must be. I don't know. They are cute, but they're nocturnal. Anyway. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to do this evening. I appreciate it.
All right. 7.
All right, now OE7, I think we're not prepared to present tonight. Yeah, so that one will be, we'll have to bring that at the next operations committee.
I'll be scared.
Number 6, got 13. Oh, that's one of the two OEs, gotcha.
Have me in the microphone in case you ever have thoughts. No, Kevin. They're gonna be able to hear me.
Transportation rights.
I have the privilege of introducing the best, working to be the best transportation group in the state, we'll say. So if you know, you met Mr. Glenn Frazier, who's the head of transportation, Mr. Kevin Lavelle, who's the assistant, and Mr. Josh Johnson, who's logistics and technology. So with that, I'll hand it over to Glenn.
Good evening, board. Thank you for having us tonight. We have brought in the routes for this school year that we're providing for the Beaufort community. We have it individualized in binders for each park out, St. Helena, Bluffton, Mink Point, and Hilton Head. We're currently operating 562 routes for this school year. That's including after-school programs, midday programs that we have, and the additional of a few routes that we had to expand on down in the Bluffton area this year to provide a little better service for that community down there. I'm very proud to say that we have reduced some of the wait time at May River High School for their afternoon and morning routes. In the past, buses have been getting there about 4:45, 5 o'clock in the afternoons. The latest bus that we have right now is about 4:15. So we've been able to reduce about 30-minute wait time for students at May River High School while still providing cross Bluffton transportation for the zoning that we have in place right now. But Mr. Josh Johnston is our new director of logistics and technology. He comes to us with a vast knowledge from the state and understands the routing system, the student transportation system that the state is using now. Been a big asset to us as far as being able to evaluate some of our routes and being able to break those down to where we could improve our wait times for students. And then Kevin Lavelle is the deputy head of transportation. He handles pretty much the day-to-day operations for our department. And he's done a great job of communicating with all the supervisors and making sure that they had the personnel and needs that they may need at these park outs. But we're here for any questions that you may have about the routes and the routing system. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
If I may, I'm gonna throw in that we actually brought 589 routes with us. And the reason that there's a difference in that is as we addressed some of the issues of the late arrivals and some of the traffic issues, part of breaking those up was to create additional routes or combine routes and move routes about. But in trying to capture kind of worst case scenario or best case scenario, I didn't want to not include routes that under certain circumstances, we may have to return back to service. So there are more routes here than our daily operation, just as potential if we have to go back to those where they're still available in the system. They're deactivated, so the state is not reviewing them from like a legal standpoint, but they are available to us if we notify them and reactivate them. And Mr. Gordon, the book that you're looking in, the tab in it, they are divided between regular needs,
General ed and
special needs transportation.
All right, I'll ask. So like the document that was provided was over 500 pages, 574. Yeah. So when I went to go look at it, I'm like, how do I dig through 500 pages worth of stuff?
Right. Yes, sir.
So, which I didn't. I'll be the first one to admit. But what I'm asking is, in the future, what highlights should I be looking for? What wave tops would you recommend that I spend? Okay, if you're going to spend an hour looking over a 500-page document, what should I be looking for?
Depending, and we can in the future, if you'd like, we can break it up into park outs like we have it in the binders, and then if you have a particular park out or area that you want to look at, you can more easily get to that park out and be able to find what you're looking for. If you have a parent complain about a certain area, you can more easily find it.
If I could jump in here, yeah, I would say your role as board members is to know if you're having lots of parent complaints. Getting into the weeds of the routes is probably not something that's necessary. Just note that they change even after today. These routes change. And there is a computer program that is monitored by the state, and that's how routes are really adjusted. There's a state law that still says boards are required to approve routes. I think Josh said he's not aware of many other districts that do that.
No, I was with the state side for about 9 years, and this is the first in that entire period of time that I've ever heard someone legitimately bringing it to the board. And it's difficult because from the start of school to the day that they're due October 15th. So tomorrow, as long as what's in the system is what we're operating with. Because of that period of time and everyone's schedule with getting back into school, I think it just it's one of those borderline archaic rules that was put in place for a reason at a certain time. And as technology and our routing system and the role of an actual router within the transportation departments of districts changed, so too did the expectation and the way that we conduct business as it pertains to routing. It just was never addressed. I think that route rule came into play in like 1983 or something like that, and it's just never been taken off of the books.
But it is still a law.
Correct.
It is a state law. So we are abiding by the law. But I also think it is a good opportunity that if you are hearing of routing issues or times or parents, this is a great time to bring that up. I think that's more important from your side than getting down into the weeds of what.
I was just wondering if it would be worth it to break up the routes by district and not necessarily by school cluster for that reason.
Oh, that gets complicated because you may have.
I'm aware because like I only have 3 schools in my district, but there are kids that go in my districts that go to high schools that are outside my district.
And what I can do is for future reference is now that you guys have an idea of why we're here and what we're presenting to you, if you guys want to give us feedback on what you'd like to see, I can create 100 different reports within that system to give you the information that you'd like to see. If that looks like you want a list of all of the routes with buses and start and stop times, then let me know that and we can make that happen. The other thing is if you want those tailored to the individual districts that each of you represent, if I had a list of, what schools you cover, I can give you just the pertinent information is what I'm saying. There will be cases where specifically on the Bluffton side, that is my bear. There will be cases where one of you may get the same route, three of you may get the same route because we are servicing multiple sections because of how the zoning is done.
Right.
And we put a lot of group effort into making that functional now and adjusting those bell times, not adjusting the bell times, but accommodating those bell times more appropriately. So essentially what I'm saying is if you guys tell me what you want to see, I'll do everything in my power to give you access to that information. And normally it doesn't take very long to produce information like that. The hardest part about this was putting it in the binders and sectioning it off. They're all, I say that jokingly because it's what I do on a regular basis. But yeah, if you just want to let me know or let us know what information you're looking for, you want to see, I'll make that available in short order.
You can help us out with something that's coming up starting next week. We had a joint meeting with the county council a week or so. Talk about another topic. But one of the things that was mentioned about the importance to the school district of getting our roads fixed. And we're having a meeting scheduled here a week from tomorrow here to talk about it with the county council. How can we get a referendum passed? And one of the points that we made at this joint meeting was we probably have the biggest single impact of any group in the county on traffic.
Sure.
So one of the things that we're going to offer the county is helping them scope the need so we can convince the taxpayers to vote for the referendum. So what would be really helpful is for you to be able to give to the board, here are our major traffic impediments.
Okay.
Infrastructure wise. This is the intersection that, 462 or whatever that causes you to be late or have to work around. You understand.
100%. Absolutely. And I'll even go into a little bit of depth. I can nerd out on this system. It's actually really cool. But when we discover those, one of the ways that we combat it as we build these routes is we create an obstacle in the system that prevents the routing software from allowing it to happen. Sometimes there's a human element to it that has to exist to understand that, this intersection on a map looks black and white, but in real time, you cannot make a left-hand turn safely in a school bus. So we are able to create those parameters in the system. And I can absolutely produce that for you.
That would be really, really helpful. Because we want this referendum.
Yeah, one of our biggest issues for the Bluffton area in particular is like the May River Road, because it's 2-lane, and if there's an accident on there, we're jammed and we're late. I mean, it puts us way behind, and there's not many accesses off. No, sir. So if we're talking about road widening and adding lanes and stuff, that's something different.
Paul, back when we had our first successful referendum, we had a citizens group go out and physically look at the schools and say, this is what we need. And so that's the kind of things that we need to give to the county to say, bingo. That 2-lane needs to be a 4-lane.
Yes, sir.
And then from that, you prioritize. Well, we want to be in the conversation on the prioritization.
Yeah.
So that
Absolutely. Sure.
the things.
So do we.
Yeah, right. Well, one of the things, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recommend to the county is when we're going to recommend that they have this committee to go out and scope the referendum. skip one issue, say, on one of their folks on the committee. Because you probably have a hell of a lot more information than the county has. That we get data that we can convince public that this is a good thing to do. So.
Absolutely.
Just like the county said, the roads, that's their bear. You know, that's the battle that they fight. The infrastructure. So no, that's a real good point. And I know it couldn't be done without transportation.
Yeah.
Without school bus transportation. Because it's getting bigger. It's widening. Yeah.
Well, the same issues on St. Helena and afternoons as well. Right there at the Ladies Island intersection, Sam's Point and yes, Sea Island Parkway. In the afternoons, it's a disaster. And as far as, you know, delays in our ability to get students home in a timely manner, it certainly affects that. So we'll be glad to get involved in that in whatever way you need us to.
You got a system. You got and that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The state began to implement it probably five years ago. And it was on a 3-year rollout for different districts. And now that's how they
operate.
That is how they operate. That's how
they check everything.
I mean, it's a pretty cool system. They've done a great job of ensuring that they know what we are doing with their assets and the buses.
And that particular system even goes down to the point where, and in the past we have had to use it. If a bus is low on fuel, we can call the shop, and the shop can tell us the percentage that's left in the bus and how much. That's how in depth that system is now. So information that you're wanting has got to be available for us.
Ms. Frazier online says adjusting bell time is a thought and different start times for all 3 school levels.
Don't get these guys going on bell times.
That is one of the things that we would love to see happen. But we'll work in the parameters that we have right now.
Especially
in a perfect world.
Yes.
You know, we're also having meetings
Starting zoning.
this week.
They started yesterday.
Started yesterday about moving these
Rezoning.
We would
The biggest part of the zoning portion that we see from transporting students is the islands, the little donuts.
Oh, yeah.
Scattered everywhere, like we were talking about.
that last night.
Those are like the supercharged bear of the Bluffton side. We're making it work, but there's certainly some, and that highlights in those areas, that highlights exactly what you're referencing, sir, that there are some areas that we have to go a certain way, and it creates even more time because of that infrastructure issue. So
we'd love to get involved with the rezoning because I think that the transportation aspect of what it's going to take to assist us in shortening times for these students to be on buses and to be able to maximize the assets that we do have. I mean, we've gotten to a point to where we were able to hire enough drivers to fill the routes that we have in Bluffton and throughout the district. But once we did that, we hired them based on the idea that we would have extra drivers in case people were out. Once we got into play and we saw the times that were going on at these schools, our first priority was we've got to shorten the wait times at these schools.
spreading that load.
And so we had to go back in and split routes up and make it basically what it made us do is make additional routes. Well, that took the assets that we had built with the extra people. So now we're still fully staffed. However, we don't have any room. So if somebody's out, then we have to start doubling up again. So if we can get involved in the rezoning to where we can maximize our assets to where
Just like to show
the
you
number of drivers that we have, we can do more with.
And Mr. Carr was there last night, and I don't know if you knew, but Miss Coco Miller was in the back right corner, and she's the South Abroad transportation supervisor. So these guys do care, and they show up.
Yeah, it was really good last night, and I was going to
Colonel Guyer kind of stole all my thunder, but I live across the street from the Bluffton complex.
Okay.
And I go out 46
Right.
to Savannah. And the traffic is awful
Yes.
both ways. And I pass numerous buses. And when it's dark, it's even worse. And now they've, a little further down by the Amoco station there where it turns to Hardyville and stuff, they've taken the top layer of asphalt off them. So now they've exposed every pothole.
Yes.
Whatever was built 25 years ago.
Right.
So, yeah, so I give the bus people unbelievable credit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dealing with all of that. Do we have a problem? And I know there, it happens, but people not stopping for the light, flashing lights?
Yes.
In certain areas, it's worse than others. And it's generally the busier areas is where we have more of the stop sign violations.
Is there a way to?
The state has started including cameras on the stop signs. We can put those in as well if we have the funding to do that. With the existing buses that we have, we can add those. It's an option that you can add. And then, of course, as we get those reports, we call the local authorities or the highway patrol, wherever the area is or whoever's in jurisdiction there, to have them try to do some setups. But
Trying to do a setup.
Now, weren't you giving tickets?
I was just fixing to comment on that. So the South Carolina Department of Education used to have a trooper as a liaison, was assigned to the Department of Education full-time. That's all he did, focused on safety. And the last one, he retired. Sergeant Matt Southard was his name. But he has yet to been replaced. But when he was on staff, probably 6 months into his tenure, he created a just like an email that when we would generate, the districts would generate those reports, they would be sent to him. And he would disseminate that information to the appropriate authority based on where it happened or, you know, the frequency. And he was even going so far. So when I was on the state, I had Beaufort and Jasper fixing their buses and monitoring routes and stuff. There were 2 occasions on the Jasper side where it was happening so frequently and they were remaining diligent that the troopers came out with local law enforcement and unmarked vehicles. And I think in like a 6-hour window, there was 26 tickets given. So the support for that idea that you're asking is from top to bottom. I don't know where they're at with putting somebody back in Southern's place in his retirement, but yes.
I just know that, yeah, because I can see it kind of both ways.
yes, sir.
And most kids will get on the bus
On the right hand side.
one side or going the way, but there are occasionally there are kids going across the road.
Well, and speaking to that, those restrictions that we put on, there are certain areas that just because of the volume of traffic, we're only picking up on one side. We're not risking trying to stop traffic at all and stuff like that. So, and those are, hopefully that's exactly what you're referencing, because those are the types of things that we track and, you know, we're manipulating that system to accommodate those safety needs.
Well, we appreciate all the work that you guys do to make it.
We appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
So action items would be traffic congestion report, so that we can go, and that's gonna be, that needs to be a quick turnaround.
Well, we're going to talk about how to structure it. And then we're going to try to get them to start working on it right away, but I'll be able to find out when they're going to have the committee set up and that type of thing. And it's part of the marketing for the referendum, and that won't happen for about 90 days prior to the referendum, which will be next spring.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe not. But bus stop for the bus stop sign cameras. Do we have a ballpark figure for that?
We can get that for you.
Okay. That's the other.
There is a bill in the House that last time we was up at Columbia, South Carolina House Bill is 3100. aimed at to increase penalties for passing school bus
Mhm.
stops. It's double or triple fines for the first offense, requiring a fine of $1,000 to $2,000, a possible 30-day prison term, and a 30-day driver's license suspension. So it's being talked about, definitely passing the stop sign.
You say that the safety guy at the state board is not been filled?
The last I checked, no. When Sergeant Southern retired, his position has not been filled. And I think he was a genuine state trooper, South Carolina.
Some of us are going to meet with the state board next week or so. And if you could send me verify if it's not been replaced.
Absolutely.
But what the vacancy is and when the guy left. Because that's a perfect thing for him to go to the state board and say, hey.
Well, it was always easier for us because we would email him a form that we filled out saying this infraction happened on this location at this time on this day. And he would then in turn take that information and get that to either, for my area, was Port Royal.
Thank you, sir.
That we had a lot of problems. He would get the information from Port Royal Police. They would come out and set up and watch vehicles on Reebok Road. But it happens throughout the district. We just send him the information, then he disseminates it to the agencies that need to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
So that position was very important.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? We do have a motion. If someone would make it. We can. You doing it? Or me?
I recommend that the operations committee
Should be I move that the operations committee, sorry about that.
because recommends in here.
Yeah, I have 2 minutes. Sorry.
I move the operations committee recommend to the board the acceptance of R16 and R17 reports that are submitted to the State Department of Education.
Second.
I second the motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 There we go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Transportation.
Keep it moving.
Keep it.
Vargas,
Good evening, all.
you're our man. I have every trust and confidence in you that you will keep this as short as possible.
He works at speed.
Oh, you want me to make it speedy? I'll do it. All right, so the executive summary for the projects through the end of September, on the 2019 bond referendum, we are at 11 project closeouts remaining, working with contractors to reconcile those funds. It looks like this month we are gonna get another batch coming our way. So we are making headway on that front. The 2019 bond referendum financials, the pay and committed funds, through the end of September, we're at $374.88 million. The remaining available funds, which include the contingency, totaled 866,000, give or take. Contingency activity in the month of September included the savings of 18.6K. No contingency was used. The contingency remaining at the end of the month was 333,000. You'll see this coming month will be much lower. Out of the 2019 bond referendum remaining program contingency commitments, we had a total of 9 that were completed in September. That leaves us with 6 for the entirety of the referendum. So we are closing in on the use of those funds. Any questions regarding 2019?
Was are there any projects at May River High School that were in the 2019 referendum?
The original?
Was the expansion.
The addition of the wing addition.
The expansion and safety security.
And we also did we do the design of the Tate building?
Yeah, portion of the Tate building was.
I told so I went to the SIC meeting for May River, and apparently the irrigation system for their garden has never really worked. And knowing that we have contingency left for that, I was wondering what the options are to.
I would rather not do that because we want to close out
2019, but we can address that because with 8%.
8% funding.
That's not a,
Yeah, I can only imagine a couple $1,000s to fix the irrigation.
yeah, we'll look into that and add that as an 8% project or even maintenance if it can be handled as a maintenance project.
They've been apparently submitting maintenance requests to have it fixed for years.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look into it and I'll speak with Alexander Marshall. I believe he was at that meeting and he gave me a blurb about that.
Also, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Any questions regarding 2019? All right.
Yeah, I do. I thought I had at James J. Davis. Is that, the parking lot was under the 2019?
2023.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'll give you an update on that one actually. When we
All right.
move to this one. So, on the 2023 bond referendum monthly project updates, I'll give you some quick highlights. May River Elementary School. We are currently working right now to get the site dewatered and the grading ongoing for the building pad. That is scheduled to begin in November. We will be ready for the, however, we'll be ready for the groundbreaking on October 20th. So that will be next week.
It's Monday.
Yep.
4:00.
Which is great because then they'll segue into the.
Then we
Yep.
have our May
6
River
p.m.
High School community meeting afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So May River High School CTE JROTC, the rough-ins are progressing. And actually, rough-ins are complete there as of the latest update that I received from the contractor. The ceiling grid installation is complete and overhead inspections are technically complete in that place. So right now you're just working finishes. Everybody's just trying to get that building wrapped up. The new building is scheduled to be turned over by the end of this year. They'll be ready for the kids starting in January. And then the contractor's going to move into the facility, the existing facility, to renovate that portion of the CTE. So lots going on at that facility.
So just Robin should be reaching out to you we actually just mentioned today about a ribbon cutting sometime in December for the May River CTE building. Y'all can look for her and dates that you might be available.
Yes. It's like,
Look at me and laughing.
you gotta be there.
Trying to help. Trying to
You
help
gotta
out,
be
Robin.
there. All right. So
25th is not an option.
the new early learning center that we're progressing through the schematic designs. Actually, we received those and we are working on pricing with the contractor. So we should have something prior to Thanksgiving to get an idea where we are cost wise at that facility. Hilton Head On High School, phase 1, that's progressing. Look briefly at the clock. We are working with the contractor on their GMP. We gave them some comments to bring some of the costs down on the facility. And from there, we are going to receive, it looks like right now, at the end of the year, beginning of next is when we'll get other revisions because there's a little bit of design work that the architect has to do to meet some of the comments that we issued to bring the project back to our budgets. Beaver High School CTE, we're progressing on the construction documents. That will be complete by the end of the year. The Ladies Island Middle School, the construction documents are ongoing and we will have those by November at 50% CDs, which from there leaping into the 100% shouldn't take much. So we are looking like at the end, towards the end of this year, we should have a completed design that the contractor will price out and we'll have something by the beginning of next year on Ladies Island Middle School. But right now, that project on the budget is trending where we need it to be. So we are currently, like I said, just waiting on the revised pricing once the CDs get turned over. Tech Warehouse, I mean, y'all seen what the progress is out there. So not really going to get into the weeds with that project, but it's also trending for the end of this year to get it wrapped up. Pastor Gordon, I did not have it in this report, but JJ Davis, right now we are working with the civil engineer on permitting.
Okay.
So they have the design development drawings that are being worked on, and the goal is to have that project finalized by, or the designs finalized by before I would say spring break.
Okay.
So that we can have everything priced out and start getting geared up to get this work ongoing, hopefully by next summer.
Just in case somebody asks. That's all.
On the financial updates for the 2023 referendum.
Hold on, just before you go on.
Yes.
Is the entryway done? When I came back in, it looks almost done.
Yeah, so we're hoping to start using it this Friday.
That's what Mark is trying to aim.
So I mean, this week or next week, it'll open up.
Some great.
We're moving furniture into the office spaces and things like that in this wing, so either this week or next it will open.
Great, awesome.
On the financial update, paid and committed funds through the end of the month was $186.69 million. The remaining available funds, which include the contingency, was $252.35 million. Contingency activity at the end of the month included the use of $462,000, give or take, and the return of I apologize. I mixed up that was the return, 462.5 K, and it was the use of 269.5 K. The program contingency remaining at the end of the month was 11.43 million. And regarding the program level contingencies, at the project level, we are looking at a remaining $13.56 million. So we still have a ways to go. And just so you're all aware, just because of where we're at with the program, I have begun forecast, basically a contingency analysis to understand how the contingency for the program is going to move throughout the projects to make sure that we're making the right decisions when it comes to how are we going to put Hilton Head under contract, how much are we going to use, how much is Lady Song going to use. So we're seeing the program holistically so that we know how we're going to make these decisions going forward. Any questions regarding 2023? Hearing none, I will move on to the 8% and the other miscellaneous projects. As you heard at District Educational Facilities, we are looking to get the front open, hopefully by the end of this week. If not, I believe it should be next week that we get this wrapped up. All the HVAC projects that we had from the previous fiscal year, FY26, all the units are all in place now. So right now, just doing some minor tweaks, but all those projects are basically at a point where the units are fired up and pumping air. So that includes JJ Davis. There was some units out there. There was St. Helena that we had some units as well. And then we had H.E. McCracken, Bluffton High School. So that's all ongoing.
Do we have one in at Whale Branch High?
Well,
that one's coming. There's some repairs coming. Those aren't new replacements.
Right, okay.
Yeah. These were replaced and new.
Okay, so JJ Davis be good for the winter.
Yeah.
That's mainly when it was having the issues in wintertime.
Yeah, the Well Branch, that unit is hopefully going to get repaired this week.
Okay.
Gym unit.
Yeah, okay.
All right. And the last bit of my report, the community outreach. We have the groundbreaking as we spoke next week at 4 p.m. And obviously the DDs that are being presented tonight at the SIC, Lady Song Middle School. The student assignment meetings, just in case that you are not aware of that schedule, it's right here. We'll have the next session at May River High School. That will be right after.
Next section is Thursday.
Oh,
at
my
Pritchardville.
apologies. Pritchard.
And then we'll be Monday
at May River. So the last portion on the solicitations, requests for proposals, and requests for qualifications. So correct me here on where the schedules are, but the proposal for professional design services, that is scheduled to go to the board. And would that be November 4th? I know that this report said October 21st, but I don't think they have to interview architects. So that's gonna
hopefully hopefully be sometime in November. They can make the November 4th.
Mm-hmm. And the CM at risk services, is that still scheduled for this? Okay, so the CM at risk will do the selections and we'll bring it forth at the
next week.
Yeah. October 21st. All right. Any questions regarding construction updates? Questions, anybody?
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. For Brandy. You're up.
I know like to move fast. We have some important things to talk about here, so we're gonna.
I was not going to say to move fast because I know it's maintenance systems.
All right. So before the report you have in front of you this evening is the custodial maintenance report for the month of September. I am going to push through the normal data sets that we report every month, really hone in on some new additions to this report. So on your first page, we've got our report of our inspections that we've completed for the vendor and the Beaufort County School District inspections. I do want to make note on this page that you will see that our averages for our inspection scores are relatively lower, much lower than they've been previously. We did find some software or some inspection glitches where individuals were completing inspections and they were not completing the inspection in their entirety. So they would have 10 fixtures that would pop and they would only score the fixtures within that space that were deficient and not score everything. So what that does is that gives you your 30, 40, 50% and brings your averages way down. So I just want to make note of that. We're reaching out to those individuals, inspectors at school locations that are doing that to try to get momentum on turning that corner on that. Moving to staffing percentages, you'll see there that all vendors met the greater than 90% overall staffing percentages. We did not have any deficiencies reported for this month. The Bud Group acknowledged and honored Employee of the Month at J.J. Davis Early Childhood, as well as Beaufort High. Interstate acknowledged and awarded Employee of the Month at Hilton Head Island Early Child and H.E. McCracken. ABM did award Employee of the Month. They just did not give me their submittals in time. That was at Adult Education and MC Riley Elementary School. You'll see on the following pages, we highlighted project work done for each of those vendors, as well as the individual employee photos for the month. So moving on to the next section, which we want to spend a little more time on, this is the custodial update. So we had talked previously with Operations Committee about approaching our annual performance review with custodial. So in their contract, we have structured it that they do have to go through an annual review process to see if we have any non-performing schools. So what you'll see here is we, in August, put a principal survey out. We've included the survey questions that we gave to the principals, as well as the response options from extremely satisfied to dissatisfied. So we provided the survey questions. We've also, as you go down the page, you'll see the survey results for the three vendors. What we did was we took the overall percentage for the number one question and looked at that to see where they would place. And then we also took the average of questions 6 through 12, their cleanliness levels in those specific areas, and we averaged those. So what you see in red is if a school hit below at an 80% or below, it flags it in red, because part of their contract is they have to perform at a standard annually when we evaluate them at an 80% or, above an 80%. So an 81% and above. So anything at 80% below, you're going to see the red. The information, and that's the principal survey results. The information to the right of that were data sets that I wanted to provide y'all so you could see just examples of what our inspection averages were to date for each one of those schools. So what we did was we took the principal surveys and we just applied a natural funnel there. So we looked at our principal survey results. When we saw the pops of red, those were the schools that required further review. We looked at all schools, but those were the schools that we really honed in on, because obviously principals are dissatisfied and they're concerned. That then pushed us to evaluate the inspection results and the averages that we've completed inspections. And then the next page, we moved to the teacher climate surveys. So not only how well are these vendors doing with their principals, how well are they doing with the inspections we're completing from the district, and then how well did they do on the teacher climate survey, which was through the state of South Carolina. So the outcome of all that data crunch and analysis was where we had 2 vendors that had non-performing schools. Both of those vendors were notified through a notice to cure with our procurement department. ABM had 7 schools under that non-performing umbrella, One was immediately qualified for transfer effective November 1st to another vendor. 6 of their schools are under a probationary period and will be reevaluated. And then the Bud Group had 3 schools that are under that probationary period. So what's going to happen at this point is these vendors have been notified, obviously through the notice to cure. They understand what the requirements are, which is they've got to get their service levels up. And if they do not get their service levels up over this period of time, principal surveys for only those schools impacted will go back out at the end of November. Those principals will be resurveyed. In the meanwhile, we are doing and amping up our inspection numbers for those locations. And between those 2 sets of data, if conditions do not improve, then at the district level, we'll have the conversation in December about how we reassign those schools to other vendors. So, any questions about custodial? That was really the big brunt, and I don't know if you want to add anything, Robert, for custodial.
No, you got it all.
So.
Other than this was just our first time doing this, so we've kind of been feeling our way through this, but Brandy's done a great job, as you see, in making it really data driven, and we haven't had any pushback from any of the vendors on what they've received or how they've been scored. So it's good. Yeah.
No questions? Okay. Okay. All right. We'll move on to maintenance. So total work orders were at 8,825. I think if you've had some time to look through this report, you're going to see some pretty obvious things that are going on right now in our transition process with maintenance. Our total work orders are over 8,000, but our work orders in progress are over 5,000. So we've got quite a backlog going. Our completion amounts are down in September, although our initiated work order percentages did increase. We did, moving to the craft categories, we did have our HVAC and our plumbing were our 2 top craft categories. Hilton Head Island School for Creative Arts, they had the highest number of work orders at 18 for HVAC concerns. Those were specific to 3 areas in that school. It was 2 classrooms and a teacher workroom. Both of those classrooms, they have been evaluated. Portables were placed in those spaces, and they are being evaluated for potential movement to outside vendors that we're currently using to source repairs. Hilton Head Elementary School had the highest plumbing work orders, and as you can see in our notes here, a lot of those were backed up due to leaking sinks and backups in sinks, as well as fastening toilets and securing faucets. Then moving on to our North of the Broad School work orders assigned. The North of the Broad section did maintain a 50% requested and completed percentage within the same month, with a average days to work and complete work orders at a 4.13 day average. So they did decrease that. South of the Broad, we had a dip with a 41% completed within the same month and requested, with a decrease as well on their average completion at a 3.36. The next section you're going to see is our blitz. We did do a blitz at Hilton Head Island Middle School. And you can see there are 32 work orders, 20 were completed. And there were various things that the crew focused on at that school. This is just a highlight of some of the items that they were able to achieve at that school. So moving on to the maintenance transition. So we have, and I'll put some more information in October's report, but Sodexo was our vendor who won our maintenance contract. So we spent a large part, or I have been spending a large part of working with Sodexo to get them transitioned for a successful 10/1 start date with a new contract. Sodexo did bring on their maintenance director, Mr. Leon Wright. They brought him on about a week and a half early, which was good. And he spent some time with our district operations staff, as well as the management team that was in place over in the maintenance department, to just try to get an idea of where they were and where we needed them to be. During that time, Sodexo also scheduled 3 training sessions. So day 1, October 1st, we had 3 separate training sessions. I attended 2, Mr. Otting attended another. So we had district representation there.
And they were really day one training sessions with the employees to say, here's who we are, here's what we expect. They did safety training day one. So it was a really good thing. I mean, it has been, they did really well with that. So their contract did start October 1st. So we're 13 days in the contract. So as you can see there, moving to our staffing, typically we provide the committee a staffing update. What we've decided to do as we're transitioning through this contract, obviously there were employees that didn't cross over with the new contract. There were employees that decided on their own terms to leave. So there's a lot of influx with staffing right now. So what we're going to do is just leave that as a placeholder, and we'll start reporting it once we get some momentum on the contract. I will say we've given them a 90-day period of time to get their staffing in line. This contract is structured in a way that they have to maintain 100% staffing. And if they don't, they get audited monthly. There's financial penalties. So that will not go into effect until January 1st. So just know that we're going to keep this as a placeholder, but there's really not a benefit to us for us to provide that staffing. So we're just going to keep that as a placeholder. And then moving on is the very last page is just recognizing success. And we've already talked about Hilton Head Middle School, our facilities walk, as well as the maintenance department. You know, even with the limited staff, I will say, they still show up. And when we ask them to do things like Teacher of the Year and district-wide events, they still show up and support our district and our staff with those things. So that concludes the maintenance report. Any questions about maintenance, specifically the DEXO, the transition, anything that y'all have?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right.
I'm up. Now, I will say, don't look so, gosh, man, you're giving me such confidence. I will say this was requested by Mr. Smith. We'll be glad to go through it. Or if you'd like us to do it at another time.
Man. Yeah. I'm inclined to put it off, just because I don't want another embarrassment like that in another meeting. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. And I feel like a lot of it was on me, but I still don't want that kind of embarrassment again. However, I will say this is not the first time that Mr. Smith has asked operations department to produce a product and not been here for it. So
I think we're directly addressing some of his questions, so it'd be beneficial if he was here when we did that.
I agree. I just,
It's gonna come together.
it enables individuals to continue to ask things for you to produce things, and for you to produce them and them not be here. And then we make concessions for that individual to be here just because. I don't know. I'm torn about this. What does the committee suggest? Or I know my personal feeling. I know what I want to do, but I'm wondering what everybody else has to say.
I don't think Robert need to go over if he's not here, because it's gonna come up again and we'll be doing the same thing over and over again. So I just wait on it. That's my thought.
Let's say if you could give us a 30-second capsule.
So the 30-second now, actually, we kind of had fun with this. Yeah, and actually, we got some things we can fine tune to make it a little better. And we've never presented this topic to this committee, so this is actually a fun topic for us to talk about, but it's very complicated. 30-second is very complicated. In a building, there are numerous systems, and every one of those numerous systems has numerous choices that you can make. And real quick, I talk about a school building is a box and you get to put what's in that box and there are reasons why you choose one thing or another. And a lot of it has to do on the guidance we're given from the board or superintendent on making.
And on money. But there are some.
Yeah.
But there are some guidelines in terms of square footage for this, square footage for that.
We're going to talk about what decisions we make and why we kind of make those decisions. So that's kind of going to be the what we'll talk about, but we'll hold off to the next meeting. That's my 30-second summary.
Will be considered a future topic.
Yes.
That's what the committee would like. That is what we will do.
So, Robin brought to my attention, there's a lot of things to cover. So there was proposed 2 operations committee meetings next month. November 6th to cover everything else, which may help.
Would be the construction.
That'd be my stuff.
Yep. And then November 13th to cover the 2 OE.
HR stuff.
Yep.
Which are typically a pretty long meeting on their own.
So it'll be OE7 and then I think HR is OE9 as well, something like that, but it's all.
Do it by that. Okay. Thursday.
6th and the what day?
13th.
That's the majority.
You're not here.
Be available.
At 5 o'clock.
We're not here.
All right. Carol just reminded me, we are not going to be here November 6th.
Fail.
So our other date was later in the month of November.
The 18th.
Yeah, the other date we could do an 18th, yes.
That is not a board meeting date because we have a work session on the 21st.
18th is okay with me.
So the 6th and the 18th.
No, 6 goes away.
Oh, 13th and the 18th, sorry. 13th and the 18th.
13th.
Take me with you, please.
13th, we have a public meeting.
Well, 13th is an HR meeting. Like I don't even have to come to this.
Okay.
It's a complete HR meeting.
So the 13th will stay the 2 OEs and then what we would cover on the 6th would be, we would do on the 18th.
And we
If
start
we
at
have-
4:30 or we start at 5? Start at 4:30.
I'm sure we can try to be here
4:30
4:30.
is okay.
Yep.
Then on the 18th would be a regular operations committee meeting. Start that at 5.
Oh, so the 13th at 16th. And then the 18th at 1700. Got it.
Now, the other member of the committee, is that Ms. Frazier? No.
Mr. Small.
Oh, Smalls, okay. That's right.
All right, so the 13th and the 18th. So let it be written, so let it be done. All right, unless there's any future topics, we just any other future topics?
Well, we know we're gonna have OE7 and and that could go on the 13th meeting because it does have an HR component.
That was what I was gonna say.
Okay.
It was the 2 of them.
Okay.
Maybe after the meeting adjourns, we could have a quick session.
Yeah, I didn't read all. Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right, anything else? There's no objection,